The studio lights were blinding, the air heavy with the hum of cameras and whispered gossip. Dakota Johnson sat gracefully on the velvet chair, her smile poised and elegant. She was there to promote her new film, confident, charming, perfectly composed. Until the interviewer leaned forward and asked the question that changed everything. "Dakota, people still talk about you and Jamie Dornan. You two used to be inseparable. But lately, it feels different. What happened between you?" For a second, she hesitated. The smile on her face froze, her eyes flickered. Then she laughed, short, sharp, almost bitter. "Let's just say," she replied, her tone calm but edged like glass, "not everyone in this business stays loyal." The audience gasped softly. The interviewer blinked. Dakota leaned back, her smirk cool and practiced. "Hollywood can be a strange place. You think someone's on your side, until they're not." Within minutes, that clip was everywhere. "Dakota Johnson calls Jamie Dornan a traitor," screamed the headlines. Twitter exploded. Fans who had adored their friendship, the inside jokes, the chemistry, the bond, suddenly split into two armies. Some defended her. Others accused her of betrayal. But one question echoed louder than all the rest. What did Jamie Dornan do? Thousands of miles away, in a quiet hotel room in Belfast, Jamie's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. His assistant had called twice already, but he ignored it. He sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through the video, his jaw tightening with every word. "Not everyone stays loyal." He replayed it again, just to be sure he hadn't misheard. But the tone, that cutting tone, left no room for doubt. Dakota meant him. He exhaled slowly, leaning forward, his elbows on his knees. The faint hum of the city outside felt distant, unreal. How could she, of all people, say that, after everything they had been through? Jamie had spent years defending their friendship. Every interview, every headline, always clarifying, always respectful. He'd told the press she was brilliant, fearless, and a dear friend. He had meant every word. And now, she had turned that history into a weapon. A soft knock on the door pulled him from his thoughts. "Room service," the voice said. He ignored it. He didn't want food, he wanted answers. He picked up his phone again and scrolled through the comments. They were brutal. Dakota finally exposed him. Jamie betrayed her for fame. So much for friendship. His heart pounded. He hadn't betrayed anyone. The only thing he'd done was decline a project, one that Dakota had wanted him to be part of. A film she was producing, a reunion of sorts. But the timing hadn't worked. His schedule was locked with another studio, and he'd been honest with her about it. She had said she understood. Clearly, she hadn't. He stood, pacing the room. "A traitor?" he muttered under his breath. "Because I didn't do your movie?" He stopped by the window, staring out at the rain streaking down the glass. The city lights blurred into gold and gray. He could still hear her voice from that clip, cold, distant, so unlike the Dakota he knew. They had shared years of friendship. Long days on set, sleepless nights filled with laughter, secrets, and trust. He remembered her sitting next to him during press tours, both of them whispering jokes to survive the chaos. They had promised to always have each other's back. But promises in Hollywood had a short lifespan. He poured himself a drink, the glass trembling slightly in his hand. Every part of him wanted to call her, to ask why. To remind her of who they were, before the cameras and the noise. But pride stopped him. He replayed her words again, "Not everyone stays loyal." It stung because it wasn't just accusation, it was betrayal. He sat down, staring at his phone screen until the light dimmed. A new headline appeared. Jamie Dornan reportedly, shocked and hurt, by Dakota Johnson's accusation. He laughed bitterly. "Shocked and hurt," he said aloud. "That's one way to put it." His hand hovered over his phone again, this time opening Instagram. He started typing, a statement, a defense, a single line to set the record straight. Then he stopped, deleted it, started again, deleted that too. What was the point? In this business, truth didn't matter. Only perception. He leaned back, eyes tired, the faint glow of the screen illuminating his face. For years, they had been the golden duo, the picture of trust and connection. And now, one careless line on national television had turned it all into ashes. Jamie whispered to himself, voice low, almost shaking with a mix of anger and heartbreak. Traitor? After everything? He stared out into the storm again, jaw clenched, his reflection fractured across the rain-streaked window. Then, almost under his breath, he said it, the words that would mark the start of something he couldn't take back. You want war, Dakota? Fine. He turned off his phone, drained his glass, and let the darkness swallow the room whole. The battle had begun. The next morning, Jamie Dornan woke to the sound of chaos, notifications exploding across his phone like firecrackers. The words, Jamie Dornan, Dakota Johnson, and Traitor, were trending worldwide. Every headline was louder than the last. Jamie Dornan furious after Dakota's shocking statement. A friendship in flames. Johnson versus Dornan. He sat up, rubbed his eyes, and sighed. The room was silent except for the steady vibration of his phone. He'd already received 3 calls from his publicist and 2 from his manager. He didn't answer any of them. Instead, he opened Twitter. Mistake number 1. Thousands of fans had turned their private history into public theater. Some sided with him, others with Dakota. She made him who he is. Jamie deserves better. This is Hollywood betrayal at its finest. He locked the phone and tossed it onto the table. Unbelievable, he muttered. Amelia entered the room quietly, holding 2 mugs of coffee. It's everywhere, she said gently. Jamie gave a half smile. Yeah, I noticed. Are you going to say something? He shook his head. If I do, it just fuels it more. She studied him for a moment. But you look like you want to say something. He laughed softly, but it was hollow. Yeah, I want to scream. That afternoon, Jamie attended a scheduled press junket for his new movie. He'd hoped reporters would stick to the film. They didn't. Jamie, one journalist called out, his voice cutting through the crowd. Care to respond to Dakota Johnson's comment? She says you weren't loyal. Any truth to that? Jamie froze for half a second, then forced a calm smile. Maybe, he said evenly, some people confuse loyalty with control. The room went still. The cameras clicked faster. His publicist buried her face in her hands. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. Jamie strikes back. Dornan's cold response. Social media lit up like a battlefield. Dakota's fans flooded the internet with posts defending her. Jamie's fans fired back, calling her ungrateful. By nightfall, Dakota's Instagram story appeared. A plain black background with 5 simple words written in white. Funny how truth hurts. That was it. No names, no tags, but everyone knew exactly who it was for. Jamie's phone buzzed non-stop. Friends texted. Mate, don't engage. She's pushing buttons, let it go. But he couldn't. He poured himself a drink and sat by the window, the city lights flickering below. For years, he and Dakota had shared something rare, not love, but trust. They had seen each other at their most vulnerable. He'd thought that bond was unbreakable. But fame had turned even friendship into a spectacle. He closed his eyes, exhaustion washing over him. How did we end up here? He whispered. 3 days later, fate intervened. Both were invited to a high-profile charity gala in London. Same venue, same guest list, same cameras waiting outside. When Jamie arrived, flashes exploded instantly. Questions flew. Jamie, will you talk to Dakota tonight? Any chance for peace between you two? He ignored them all, but inside the hall, as he made his way through the crowd, he saw her. Dakota, standing near the piano, dressed in black, hair pulled back, her expression unreadable. Their eyes met. For a moment, everything else disappeared, the noise, the rumors, the headlines. Just silence. Heavy, sharp, real. Jamie approached slowly. You've been busy, he said softly. Dakota's lips curved, half a smile, half a wound. So have you. They stood face to face, two people who once understood each other completely, and now barely recognized the person in front of them. You called me a traitor, he said quietly. Her jaw tightened. You left without saying goodbye. Jamie frowned. You mean the film? I mean everything, she said. You disappeared, Jamie. After everything we went through. You just walked away. Do you have any idea how that felt? He hesitated, guilt flickering across his face. I thought giving space was what you wanted. Dakota shook her head. No, I wanted honesty. I wanted my friend. The silence between them stretched, full of things neither had said for years. Finally, Jamie stepped closer. Then I'm sorry, he said. But I never betrayed you. I just didn't know how to stay when everything between us was built on a movie the world wouldn't let us forget. Her eyes softened. Maybe I overreacted, she admitted. But when you didn't stand by me, it felt like you were choosing sides. I wasn't, he said firmly. I was trying to survive it. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, slowly, Dakota reached out and touched his arm. Then maybe, she said quietly, we both made mistakes. Jamie nodded, relief and sadness mingling in his chest. Maybe. When the music started, she smiled faintly. I think the cameras are watching. He chuckled. They always are. Then give them something to write about, she whispered. He laughed under his breath, and for the first time in months, it sounded genuine. They hugged. Brief, awkward, but real. The room flashed with camera lights, capturing what tabloids would soon call the reunion no one expected. Later that night, Jamie posted a single message on social media. Loyalty isn't about sides, it's about forgiveness. It went viral in minutes. But this time, the headlines weren't about fury or betrayal, they were about closure. Because behind the chaos, beneath the noise, Jamie and Dakota had remembered what Hollywood had made them forget. That friendship, true friendship, can survive even the loudest storms.